It's time for Recipe of the Day. It is Wednesday for you, and I hope you're having a great day. For me, I am in Savannah this week, so I pre-recorded this episode before going, and I can tell you things are crazy around here as I'm gearing up to go. And when things get crazy like that, more often than not, dinner ends up being made in the air fryer. And so that is what I'm doing tonight. My plan is to make up a very basic salad, do a bag of frozen French fries from the grocery store in the oven, and I'm doing some air fryer crispy breaded fish. What I have in mind here is to cut the fish into kind of triangles or sticks and bread it. And then it's kind of like those like fish sticks that I had when I was a kid, but using like really good quality white fish, and the air fryer is going to get it nice and crispy on the outside. You know what I mean? Now, how do we make this air fryer crispy fish? You're preheating the air fryer to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you're seasoning the fish fillets with a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm going with 12 ounces of white fish fillets, and we want them to be about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick. If they're any thicker than that, the breadcrumb coating is going to get too brown in the time it takes the fish to cook through. And if they're thinner than that, the fish is going to overcook before the breadcrumbs get to a nice crispy texture, you know? So you want 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch fillets, and you're sprinkling them all over using 1/2 teaspoon of salt total, and then 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I'm just going to say that I'm about to tell you in a moment that I'm seasoning the panko breadcrumbs with a little bit of paprika. But if you were going to go in with any kind of seasoning blend that contains salt, like an Old Bay or something like that, then you would want to skip the salt and pepper that you're seasoning the fish with, because there's going to be enough salt in that coating. I'm not putting any salt into my panko breadcrumb mixture, so it's okay for me to salt the fish directly here. Okay, then you're getting out a shallow dish. I like to use a pie plate, and you're adding 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour to that. And then in another dish or another pie plate, you're doing 1 egg lightly beaten. And then in 1/3, you're mixing together 2/3 of a cup of panko breadcrumbs and a teaspoon of paprika, or a teaspoon of whatever seasoning you are using. Working with 1 fillet at a time. Yes, I know I say fillet and Americans say fillet. I am getting so much flack for that on social media, but I can't seem to stop, and I don't want to stop anyways. Okay, 1 fillet at a time. You're going to dredge it in the flour. That just means putting it in the flour and coating it all over lightly. You'll shake it off. Basically, what's happening here is that the fish is a little bit damp, and then the flour is sticking to anywhere that there is dampness on the fish, which is the whole piece of fish, right? Then you're dipping that same flour dipped fillet into your lightly beaten egg. What's happening here is the egg, which is wet, wants to stick to dry things, so it's sticking to that flour you just put on there. That's how this coating is being built. Then once it's coated in the egg, shake that off a little bit, and then you dip it in the panko. Now, I like to set the fish fillet down in the pile of panko, and then get some panko from the sides and put it over top, and then push down, and then flip over and push down again. That little bit of pushing helps the panko adhere even better to that egg. Then transfer that fillet to a plate and repeat with the remaining fillets till they're all done and they're all on that plate in a single layer. Then your air fryer basket is already preheated at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You arrange your fish fillets in there in a single layer. You don't want them crowded. You don't want them overlapping. And you cook them for about 10 minutes, just until the coating is nice and crispy and the fish is cooked through. I'll just say that if you have a smaller air fryer basket, or if you're doing a bigger batch, you can keep the cooked fish warm in the oven. Set your oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Arrange the cooked crispy fish on a rack set on a pan and put it in the oven. That rack is going to keep the hot air circulating around the fish so that it doesn't start to like get soggy, and it just stays in there, staying warm while you cook subsequent batches. Once it's all ready, then you can all dig in at the same time. Okay, I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is April 23rd of 2025. And if things are crazy for you and you're looking for a little help with meal planning, I have a really great solution for you. It's a new way of thinking about meal planning, and it comes with a nice printable template. You're going to love it. It's called Rotation Ready Recipes, and you can sign up for that. You get some emails with the printables and the information about how to use it. Go to cookthestory.com/courses and sign up for Rotation Ready Recipes there. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookville.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.